Sentire Media.
Hey, thank you. You did it. Downloaded the podcast from Italy. Good evening, Ashley.
Buonasera.
Wow, a very special evening podcast. Special in the sense that we actually did it. So that makes it special.
Ding-a-ling.
Thank you for doing it. Thank you for downloading it. Today is the 18th of December. It is 5:35 in the evening. It is dark out. Normally, we don't do the evening podcast. I feel like I have more energy in the mornings. I feel like I'm more of a morning person.
This is true.
I feel like by the time the sun goes down, my power goes. I power down.
Power down. We're
gonna push through tonight just for doing the podcast. Let's set it up because it's been a minute. I'm out of practice. It's been a minute since we've done this. My name's Jason. Your name's Ashley. We did that part. La Tavola Marche.
Yeah.
Agritrismo in the foothills of Piobico, Sant'Angelo.
Of the Apennines.
And do I say anything else?
No, let's just get into it.
Very good.
Thanks for tuning in. This is definitely the sporadic podcast.
Why sporadic?
Well, we didn't do one last month, so we've got to recap November.
It's a November to remember. Very good. So let's start it off. The end of the season.
We had our last guests in November, but before that, it was tons of hunters out everywhere. It was a prolific mushroom season. I think we talked about it in October, but it meant they were still here all through November, the mushroom hunters. Truffle hunters tried as they might, but there were not many truffles to be found.
Not a great truffle season.
It was going for 2,000 to 3,000 euros on average for the sale of the truffles from the truffle hunter to the commerciante, and then from the commerciante to the public. Who knows what the price was from there? But yes, that was the average. It was about 2,000 to 5,000 euros for white truffles this year.
Yeah, and not worth it because we had them a few times and they were not really super pungent.
Nope. Did lots of truffle hunts with the guests. Didn't find many white truffles this year at all.
I turned my soil in the field for the first time by myself with my own equipment.
I did it.
I did it. Thanks a lot to Ken. He helped me. Neither one of us knew what we were doing, but he gave me emotional support. Watched me for a little bit. But
why is this a big deal?
Well, because I finally got...
In 18 plus years or whatever?
Because I finally got the soil turned at the correct time of the year.
That's it.
Normally this would...
happen in late winter or early spring.
Never really when the soil was at the correct moisture level or the correct time of year to give it enough time to sit after it's turned and... Yada, yada, yada. So, no broken tractor, no broken implement. So, we call it a win.
We call it a win. And November 10th, the last guests checked out, and we started to get the house ready for winter.
Flip it over. We're now sitting in what was the dining room just 30 short days ago.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
And we live in a large dog den, to be quite honest, with a Great Dane and a cream retriever.
Yes.
But it's very nice. It's very gezellig, as the Dutch would say.
Very cozy.
Yep.
So after the guests checked out and we started switching the house over, we took a little road trip for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't left the house in a few years.
We found a wonderful person to come and dog sit who has been a guest a few times. We've become real friendly with her over the years. She's American and moved to southern Italy, which was the perfect combination because we need someone to, if they're going to come and watch the dogs, to speak English to the dogs, but speak Italian if there's any problems or dealings with the locals. I think if
someone spoke Italian to the dogs, they would be okay. I don't really think I think you're putting too much stock in them understanding English.
Well, that's true, too. But we did a little road trip, and we went first we took a tour. Jason, we'd gone up there before to Colonnata, which is the little tiny town above Cararra, which is technically where all the marble comes from, and the Carrara marble. And we'd gone up a couple years ago and didn't do a tour, but we went up just for the Lardo di Colonnata.
We bought a marble box. I have it. It's almost ready, actually.
Can you explain what that is? Lardo di Colonnata.
Yeah, it's salted. You take the lard from the back of the pig with the skin on it. You put it under salt and spices, and then you put it in a box with with
a marble box.
The marble box with water, salt, and it makes this like slushy, salty, briny, all these spices, and you leave it sit in there for the better part of a year, basically 10 months, a year, and then you take it out and you slice it paper thin, and you could put it on toast. You could put it on like roasted chickens. You can,
or in like a pot of beans.
A pot of beans. You would wash the salt off, so the salt penetrates into the lard. It's not like it's not super salty on the outside. You would cut that part away anyway,
and it doesn't make like a crust of salt on the lard.
Not really, because it's a high humidity, it's high moisture,
but it is so good. Anyway, delicious. We went up there because we're so fat. We just went to go have that, and then when we left, it was like, oh, we should come back up here and take a tour of the marble quarries.
When you're in Colonnata, it's literally right below where the quarries are, so you can hear the machines and see the dust and all that. And then we saw the trucks bringing down all the marble, these giant trucks with these giant blocks, and we were like, we got to come back. I got to go see. I really was so curious about the logistics and how do they do it and everything. So we finally made our way up there. I would highly suggest doing one of these tours where they put you in like a Land Rover Defender and take
old school,
take you up the side of the mountain. These are roads that are made of just pieces of crushed marble that you're driving up.
And because these quarries are privately owned by, I don't remember how many families. Not many. I can't remember if it was it was like 50 or something, or like 13.
No, I think there was 50 quarries. I don't think that many people.
That's right. I think it's like 13 families. Something insane. Anyway.
She didn't really want to talk that much about
No, that part, not so much. But so that meant you need to have like either keys or passes to get into these different private areas. And so
not to
having
mention
a private
it's a working quarry, so
exactly.
You can't just let anyone up there.
But you want to talk about it a little bit? What was your favorite?
We met a German woman who married an Italian. I think she married into one of these families.
Maybe.
Because into one of these.
How else do you have access?
How else do you have the keys to everything? And I had a lot of questions she didn't really want to answer. She kind of danced around those. Anyway, we jumped in her car early in the morning. Started going up the mountain. It was maybe 15, 20 minutes, literally up these crazy roads to the first quarry. And since it's the autumn and the weather's, you're only 6 kilometers from the sea. That's what's so crazy, is you're so close to the sea. But the weather was coming in, so you couldn't, in 5 minutes you couldn't see the marble wall in front of you.
And it was pouring rain.
And then 10 minutes later, it's sunny out and beautiful again. So it was a little bit of schizophrenic weather, but
I loved
it even better.
Exactly. And so she took us up to we saw like 3 different outside quarries, and
she explained the different types of saws that they use, how they
cut the steps.
How they cut the steps into the stone, how they read the stone to see the natural fissures into where they're going to let the stone crack itself. Think of like busting open a big wheel of Parmesan. It kind of breaks off on its own where it wants to break naturally. So they kind of make these cuts to help induce that, but then at the final edge, it just kind of pops off. They don't slice it like slices of a cake.
No, but it is so interesting. And then we even got to go into a, would you call it an underground, or is it like inside?
Under a cave quarry. So
a cave quarry. So it's like inside the wall of the mountain.
Yes. So the property lines of these different owners are very, very precise.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes because of the way the mountain is, or because of they're looking for something else, they will start going into the mountain and make these caves because they're looking for the white marble. There's like 16 different grade colors of marble.
Yeah.
The Michelangelo statue white is the most precious, which I didn't think was the most beautiful. I liked, even though some of them are like gray, full gray, they still call them a shade of white. I like the more gray ones, and people always love the super white, the Michelangelo white with the rust or gold running through it. Which I don't think that's the nicest one, but to each their own. But going into the underground now, they're always searching for the whitest white with these gold kind of veins running through it, and they will go into the mountain, which costs 10 times more money to go into the mountain rather than just cut off the face of the mountain. So if they don't hit what they're looking for, it doesn't make economic sense anymore to
keep mining,
keeping mining through there. It was kind of interesting. Only 25% of what they cut ends up as actual marble being used. The rest of it gets used in industry, from toothpaste to baby powder to, she named off like 50 things that it's used, that marble
blew my mind. Yeah,
because it's magnesium and something else. So they break it down, and those are two elements that are used in tons of cosmetics and
from the moment they have been
mining
the mountain
from the
Romans, they have only taken 5% of the marble, which is incredible as well. But highly recommend it. Worth the trip up there.
Worth the trip up. A totally different perspective. It was awesome. I stole a shard from the
I can't believe it.
from the underground quarry. Sitting on the kitchen table.
My God.
It's a white Michelangelo white one.
Oh my God.
Great day. Very much fun.
That was fun. And we stayed in Lucca, which was wild because Lucca wasn't wild, but lovely little city. It was wild because it was mid-November and they were preparing for a Christmas Christmas market for like the 18th of, or like something like that. It was just, I couldn't believe how early they were getting ready to do a Christmas market.
Now, if you go back to our first podcast, you'll hear us bitching about there's no commercial. Ashley says, I really like Christmas in Italy, but I really miss the commercialization of Christmas, like in the States. Well, baby, it's here. The commercialization of Christmas we have seen come in the last 15 years.
Oh my gosh, from Panettone showing up on the shelves
earlier
early November to now Christmas markets starting in mid-November. I was like, it hasn't even been Thanksgiving. And I know there's no Thanksgiving in Italy, but I thought this is still even now early for America. This is crazy. Normally, I think it's like a 4th of December, you start to see the festivals and things begin, but
this year it's very early, and a lot of chintz. When we got here, there was none of that Christmas. What's a better word for the chintzy crap?
Like the tchotchkes?
Not a lot of that. It was like presepe, nativity scenes, and like a wreath and a guri, and that's about it. And now I was in the bank this morning, and they had a horrible plastic tree with all like a dancing Santa.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The whole thing. So it's just it's interesting how it's changed.
Well, speaking of change, we realized on this trip we went to Lucca, we went to Prato, we went to Pisa, Padova. We realized we live in old-timey Italy.
When you listen to us speak, and this was really apparent on this trip, it was like we have kind of lost touch with the country we live in, because we live in this little pocket of
old-timey
Italy where it's like 50, 75 years ago, and nothing changes, and you know everyone, and you get out of here, and it's like, oh, this is scary. This is scary.
Well, not scary, but always traffic. We're like, oh my God. But we were shocked. Like in Prato, we thought, oh, let's stop and get some lunch on the way to Lucca, whatever. And the amount of foreign food that we had seen.
There was a whole huge Chinese section of town.
There was Indian section, Indian food zone, and all of Middle Eastern.
Stop talking about just your stomach. There was the whole huge, we don't see.
Yeah, with all the writing.
You would see billboards written in Chinese.
Driving school
written in Chinese characters. And you're like, yeah, okay.
I know.
Okay.
So?
No, this is Italy. I haven't seen that in...
We lived in New York. We get it.
Yeah.
But no, where we live, you don't see this at all. And so we were super excited to have lunch then. We were like, change of plans.
I had the best I don't know if they were from Tunisia, if they were Tunisian
no
or somewhere in North Africa. the best rice and chicken. It was
so
great.
good. And anyway, it was just, we were surprised that we had no idea why either. And then
how are these people?
What's
What
going
are these
on?
big communities of foreign people being supported by? So, of course, come home and ask Gaji. He's the know-all of everything. And apparently, lots of textile industry, lots of manufacturing, lots of that kind of stuff in that zone of Prato.
So it made sense, but it was just like, whoa, we got to come back over here.
Yeah, there was like what blew my mind is when we passed the Chinese bridal wedding dress shop, and
all
it was
of
like, oh, what is going on?
Speaking of foreign food in Italy, we made sure to take a side day trip to Pisa just to get tacos because someone who I follow on Instagram is from Southern California, never whatever, and he posted probably 4 years ago these pictures of tacos, and I wrote to him saying, "Oh, is this like a throwback to your days in Southern California, missing tacos, living in Italy?" And he said, "No. I found a taco guy in Pisa." I marked it on my calendar or on my maps and saved that for years. Jason for years would be like, should we just go get tacos in Pisa? So finally we did. Totally worth it. It was crazy. You had to get let in. It was locked up.
Well, he had 3 tiny little tables.
I
and
know.
I think that it's one of those things where people just kind of he gets
and it was really
overrun.
windy, so I think you didn't want to have the door opening and closing.
It's a tiny little place sandwiched between a Indian grocery store and some other random shop. You'd walk by it and not even think that you'd go in there. It's right in front of the porta for the leaning tower in Pisa, right across the street from it. We were so lucky we got the last table. It was the best tacos.
Oh my gosh! I even got a margarita. It was great.
2 margaritas.
I did. Who's counting? We were on vacation.
Excellent. So if you are in Italy on vacation, you're like, all this Italian food, enough already.
That's why you're here. But when you live here for this long, you're looking for something different. And hilariously, we weren't even really going to go see the Leaning Tower, but we were like, well, we're right here.
Literally, it was 100 meters.
Because we've never seen it before. And so as we walk up, we were just cracking up because we could barely look at the tower because of all the people on the promenade walking up to it, doing the stupid pose of holding it up or pushing it down or kicking the soccer ball.
It's a huge.
It was hilarious.
There's a beautiful, huge, large road next to a large open area of grass before the tower, and then there's a moat, I believe, around it. And there was a big church. So it's a big open space. So there's 100 meters of this rail that people do it. And we just sat there for a few minutes.
I couldn't stop taking pictures of that. I only got 2 pictures of the tower. And then I got a ton of video and photos of people just taking pictures and trying to get the setup. I thought it was hilarious.
So we walked at the tower, checked it out with bellies full of Mexican food. I'm not walking up that thing. That thing looks high. And
can you?
Of course, I saw people at the top.
I didn't even know. That was not in my. I was there for tacos, and this was just a side thing.
And the wind was whipping, so we checked it out. We walked around, did a walk around of it, and headed back to the car. But I don't know anything else about Pisa. If it's
not
worth
a clue.
Going to.
After that, we went to Cararra. We went to Padova and did a stop in Cararra also. And there was a Christmas market going on there.
Now, you make it sound like they're all right next to each other. No, we hopped in the car and literally went across the country and north.
Yep.
So we went northeast, right below Venice to Padova.
Bigger city than I thought.
It was the big city. There was trams and too many people.
It was fun though. We did some shopping everywhere, and we're always good tourists. It was fun to get out and since they had their Christmas market, just kind of festive and fun.
So it was interesting to see also the differences between being in Lucca for a few nights, which seemed like a countryside walled city, walled large town. I shouldn't say city. It was more comfortable for me. I don't know.
And
it felt
sleepy.
More sleepy.
At night it was real quiet.
Also, you could tell
you could still hear a lot of English. There was a lot of tourists.
Because you're so close to Florence. But it felt more like a
vibe you could do.
Slower. Then you go to Padova, and now it is totally different. It feels different.
Oh my God!
Just
trying to get to the different parking garages, and it was all
not only about that,
parking. Where are you going to park?
The Italian sounds different. The climate's different. The people dress differently. Everyone's now in black and like dark colors. Smarter looking. Yeah, it was totally different. And getting back to
they
food.
had like 20 ramen restaurants back to the.
Dude, enough. 20 ramen restaurants.
I just was shocked.
Yes. Diverse food has come to Italy. It has. Not here, but when we first moved here, there was you could go to Padova 15 years ago. There was no ramen restaurant in Padova. Really cool. Like if you end up in Venice and you want to, the reason to go
I want to go
Padova,
and do this. I want to go back. You could take a cruise, a riverboat cruise from Padova up through the Canal River up to Venice. And I don't even know. It just sounded really cool. Like go hang out for just a little bit and then take the ferry boat, whatever the heck you call it, back. It just sounded like an interesting way to go and see Venice. And we've been to Venice so many times. I don't need to necessarily walk around, but to go and arrive like that would be really cool.
Padova was interesting to us because it has the largest piazza in all of Europe.
That is true too.
And it was huge. It has a canal that runs around and then like an inner piazza and a tram that goes around the outside of the piazza. It was enormous.
Yeah, I'm sure they have tons of festivals. And stuff
the
there.
summertime must be incredible. Yeah. And so was the not the Duomo, but what was right next to it, the Basilicata di Sant'Antonio.
Sure.
Was it Sant'Antonio?
Sounds good.
Okay, this was one of the most decked out churches. I mean, we've been to the ones in Rome. The ones in Rome are more gaudier with like lots of gold leaf, and it just looks like someone just threw a bunch of stuff in there. This one was all marble. This one was really nice. And God, you would say, you know what you smell like in here? It smells like money.
Money.
Just you could feel by their, like, you go to the Duomo in Lucca, which is beautiful, and it's tons of marble, but it's much more what's the word?
Subdued.
Than the one in Padova. Different families, different everything, but that one was like, holy crap. This is
money.
Money.
So it was fun. It was a great time to get around for a few nights, and we just haven't been able to do this since we got the DOGs.
No, we haven't really traveled around Italy so much and done really anything except stuck at home. That's why sometimes it's like, I don't know. We cut the grass and I know
for doing a podcast, there hasn't been a whole lot to report. Then Jason dropped me in Bologna, and I went and visited family for Thanksgiving and came home just in time to get a Christmas tree.
Well, hold on. You're glossing over.
What?
You haven't been back to the States for a while. Anything that from the States that caught your eye, or things that you noticed that are different being here for so long now and then going back not so often?
Well, I just wasn't out and about much, but definitely like the cost of groceries is so expensive and things like that. The water was disgusting.
What do you mean disgusting? Like
everyone's water tastes, even my freaking uncle's, it tasted like chlorine.
Oh, the city water super treated, you mean?
Yes, I'd just rather have ours for sure. We're so lucky. Let's see here. What else? It was fun to go to a mall on Black Friday. Just to see. No, there was no chaos, but just the chaos of all the people.
I'm surprised that there's still a mall that.
I know. I was surprised
no one goes
too.
to malls anymore.
Except I had a very short attention span. When my sister and I hung out for maybe an hour, and it was like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. Where other family was like, we'll be here for another 2 hours or whatever. It was like, I don't think so. And of course, like the one of the things that always gets me is the old cars on the road in going back to Seattle.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of older cars.
You see like weird old cars.
You know what we have a lot?
Total beaters. You see ones that are like covered in trolls or like weird shit on the outside all over the car.
Yeah, we don't have that.
You don't have like
here.
you don't have people decking out their car all weird and stuff, or just the old
stuff from like 80s cars or just beater old cars. Yeah. Not so much here.
No, so that was more of it. Got to go up to the mountains. Went to a little town outside of the mountains, or kind of still in the foothills of the mountains, called Leavenworth in Washington, which is super pretty. And it's this like little Bavarian-inspired town, little village. But it's hilarious because we've been to Bavaria. It's so just my uncle Mike, he lives not far from there, and he just kept calling everything so fake. And I was like, he is not wrong. But all the family loved it. It just was great to kind of we had family in town from Oklahoma and Australia and all that. So to go out and do that was a blast too. But it was fun to go back, but always good to be home. So got home in time for a Christmas tree. Jason, we did some research. Normally, we've gone up to the Alps.
We go to the Alps.
We go to the Alps to get our tree.
We would love to go to the nursery around here. To get one.
This isn't because we're trying to be hoity-toity. That's because that's the closest we could get a real tree.
Now they sell at the big box hardware stores here what I call shit breather trees.
Yep, they are.
Which are about 3 feet tall.
Exactly.
Charlie Brown Christmas tree a little bit.
Yep.
Not,
with or without their root ball.
Yeah, with or without the root ball, not really of the caliber we're looking for.
No.
So I didn't really want to drive all the way up to basically like Trento Bolzano way up there to get, because up there, the reason why you go up there is you get your choice, since they grow like 5 different, they got the noble firs, they've got the
I don't even know.
There's like 4 or 5 different choices, and you go to the Christmas tree farm and with a hacksaw, and we cut it down.
Yep.
So it's the freshest and the best selection. Get whatever the heck you want. Didn't want to drive that far, so
It's a long drive for one, because I just got home, so I was going to stay with the dogs, so he could go up. But
it's a long drive for a Christmas tree, man.
And not as much fun with Christmas carols in the car.
No. So Ashley found a Christmas tree. A guy who farmed for
outside of Arezzo.
Farmed for 50 years, said, I'm sick of it. Enough. There's too much. The whole time we were there, he's bitching about all the European Union regulations that they throw on farmers, which is true. So he ditched all the animals and ditched all the crops, and his daughter married a Frenchman. And when he goes to visit them every end of summer, they live right next to a place that sells Christmas tree starter plants, like little 25-centimeter saplings. So he started off by getting a couple hundred and putting them in the ground, and he's been doing it for 10 years now, 15 years now. So there's, different zones.
And hilariously, like, no sign. Jason couldn't find the place.
He's just dicking around in his barn kind of thing. Finally, I found it. There's no one up at the house. Like, it's a retired guy. He's just doing it.
Yeah.
So
you got to know.
You got to know. So the field is not where the barn is. So we have to wait for, like, there's other people coming. It's like twice a morning he's going to take people down there. You hop in the back of the tractor in the back of the tractor, and he takes us down to the field, and you just walk around and pick out your tree, and then he comes around and we cut it down together and tie it up.
Some people were getting with the root ball.
Yeah, some people want it with the root ball, so he's digging out the root ball. And what I thought was going to be, I'll be there 45 minutes, an hour, grab a tree, I was there like 2.5, 3 hours because you have to wait for everyone to be done. So there was like 6 of us. Everyone got a couple.
Only one old guy to do the work.
Guy to do all the work. And he's in no hurry to get this done. Because after this, we're just eating lunch.
And Jason's sending me video calling from the field trying to pick out a tree. And he brings, first of all, you got 2.
I got a little one for the entry and a bigger one. She's got a nice ass on her. A bigger one for the living room.
It's not going in our yard, Russ.
Dad, that tree won't fit in our yard. It's not going in our yard, Russ.
And what was the grand total?
20 euros each.
That's insane.
Much, much, much cheaper than going up to the mountain. Let me tell you, when you go up to the mountains in the Alps, it is not $20.
And gas.
Yeah.
Seriously, like the whole thing. So this was so much better.
It was much better. He doesn't. Now, I will say that, of course, if you drive further up, more selection. They prune all the trees. So this one was kind of like
wild.
You got to look at them and kind of see the shape of it because none of them are pruned. So they all look like they have wild hair.
We kept it a little wild. I like it.
I like it too. So really great. And another valley I've never been to. So, following the Arno, I forget the name of the valley.
It was near Poppy,
and another one. Anyway, it's right between Arezzo, Florence, and like the Umbrian Valley. I've never been up there. Beautiful, just like our valley. The only difference is they had a bunch of shut down manufacturing, different types of manufacturing, because they had a railway that went down the whole thing. You saw all the rail and none of it. Everything was rusting, but another beautiful area to check out.
Well, I love our 2 trees. Rosanna came over with Gaji the other night and was like, saw the one in the entry, and she goes, "That's not the one you sent me a photo of." I said, "This is the other one," and she goes, 2 trees? Really? And then she was confused. I don't know who she talked to, but she said she heard that nativity scenes are not a thing in America at all. And I said, that is true. And she said...
Well, not at all. Like, you'll see it...
Well, very little.
Not like here.
Not like here. And she said, and I also heard very few people have Christmas trees. And for some reason, I took total offense at that. And I was like, that is not true. And then I was like, maybe if they're like in Florida, I don't even know. And then Gaji starts yelling at her and goes, "What is so?" And she goes, "Well, so-and-so went to America and said she didn't see many Christmas trees." And Gaji goes, "What does so-and-so know? She only went there whenever. Ashley lived there, blah, 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 blah." So they started screaming at each other, just like classic times.
Good times.
Good times. I'll start it over a Christmas tree talk.
So Pierangelo, the other day I'm walking the dogs. Pierangelo is our neighbor up the road who's the crazy farmer who talks. He's a cross between... Yeah. If you think of the mailman from Funny Farm where he just kind of comes and throws the mail and...
Totally.
That's kind of like Pierangelo. He drives 1,000,000 miles an hour down the road.
He calls the house, "Kikamone,"
and you can't really understand him when he speaks because he speaks hard dialect.
Yep.
Anyway, he stops me the other day. This typical old guy thing to say. He stops me and goes, "Hey, I see you're walking the dogs all the time and you're not doing anything. How would you like to fill the holes with me on the road? Because these holes are terrible," and blah, 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 blah. Go, "Okay, yeah, no problem. Just let me know when you want to do it." So I didn't understand. He wanted me to take my dump truck, which would have given me a huge bone. I would have been all boned up to do. And he wanted me to bring the dump truck down the road to fill up the gravel, to bring it up the road so that we can fill the holes. I didn't understand that. So he passes. I go, yeah. And he goes down the road with his tractor. And then 20 minutes comes back and just yelling at me. "Oh, what are you doing? You don't know it. You don't do it." I'm like, no, I didn't understand exactly. I thought you meant that. I thought that the truck was coming from the village with the stone already in it.
You didn't understand he meant your cameo.
I didn't understand. I'm not used to being the one with the equipment.
Exactly.
So
he checked it out when he delivered the wood too, and was like, "That's a nice piece of."
So anyway, it was great. I got to use my dump truck. We went down the road and
Pierangelo drove.
He kicked me out. He goes, Let me drive it. Okay, no problem. We went down the road and took rocks that weren't technically our gravel to take. They were from...
He's like, "Oh, they're not using it."
It's been this pile of road gravel has been there for a couple of years, but it really belongs to Walter and the first third of the road because it's a different... village is responsible for that. Now, I mentioned that to Pierangelo, and he said something about Walter. Walter, I'm sure that he didn't tell Walter that we were taking these stones because
he won't miss it.
His answer was, "Yeah, he's not going to miss it." He will miss it because you could totally. We took 2/3 of the stones themselves, which if Pierangelo's kind of the senior guy in the valley.
Yeah, I wouldn't
so,
worry. No one's going to think it's your fault.
No, but I don't really want to be associated with the theft of the stones, because it would be like, oh, you and the American, and then I have to hear shit about something that I was just there as like a hired shovel.
Not hired, but just
a shovel.
Bitch boy.
Pierangelo fills up the truck with the gravel, and then I get in the truck and shovel really heavy ass stone into the holes of these.
That's why he says he's going to drive.
Yeah, these giant potholes that are filled with water and everything. Now, it's really a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, because already half of them,
not even a week later, all these heavy trucks and tractors that come by, the holes get filled with water, the stone kind of floats, and as soon as the tire hits it, smushes it out. But we can say we did something. And it was nice to kind of get out there and move your body.
Move my fat body, because I haven't done shit in a month, to be quite honest. And get yelled at. I like getting yelled at.
He does that.
He does that.
I know.
He does that.
One of the guys who we go truffle hunting with, Lorenzo, their family has a farm down the road, and he's around just a little bit younger than Jason and I. And I said, "Oh, are you good?" Jason was getting ready to plow the field and turn the soil, and I said, "Hey, are you passing by our house today?" And he goes, "No." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Well, Jason's trying to set the plow, and just if someone knows how to do it, it would, make it go so much quicker just to show him how to get it set the right angle." And he was like, "Oh," I said, he goes, "Have Pierangelo help him." He goes, "I've only been doing this for 3 years." And he said, "Pierangelo, I'd call him all the time to help." And he goes, he would just yell at me all the time. He goes, "But he's really good, because he would show you how to do it." But
he does show you how to do it.
Yells at you. So he cracked. Because I said, "Oh yeah, if Pierangelo stops, he'll just yell at Jason or something." And he starts cracking up. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's what he does." But he knows what he's talking about.
So that's how we got the field plowed this time. Was finally Pierangelo stopped and showed,
because he saw you reading a book.
He saw me with the manual on the back of the tractor, freaking looking at it. He's so funny, because he just comes up in this heavy dialect, basically goes, "Look at you! You don't know what the fuck you're doing, spending all this money. You don't know what the hell. Look at this shit." Blah, 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 blah. Literally 5 minutes, he set the thing perfect. Of course.
Yeah. In the meantime, as he's talking shit, he sets it. Perfectly.
He sets it perfectly. First time, go forward, faster, slower. Why are you going so fast? It's hysterical. You feel very small, but I also I deserve it. He's got 50 years of experience on it. And yeah, in 5 minutes he said it. And then he gets back in his truck, slams the door, and peels off.
Oh, we should add him to the cookie list.
Yeah, we should. I will.
Okay.
We're in the middle of Christmas cookies. This year we did not do the sugar cookies with all the icing. Because
I was going to smuggle back red dye 40, but
yeah, we can't get good because the European Union doesn't let the good chemicals in the food here. We can't get the good food dyes because red is hard. When you're trying to make the icing, the red always turns pink here because it doesn't. I don't know. We need whatever that good Monsanto.
I don't know what they do.
Whatever cancer causing red dye number 40, we need it.
So what did we make instead?
Thumbprint cookies. We have so much raspberry jam left over
from our raspberries.
So thumbprint cookies, they're coming out. They look good, and
they're delicious.
And the Italians like it because it's like a little crostata, like a little tiny bite size.
Yep, little 2 bites. Mm-hmm. They're perfect.
We did not do our normal Thanksgiving for the Italians. The Thanksgiving here to thank everyone because Ashley was gone and. I don't know. We just didn't do it. Ash, you were gone.
I know.
We're not going to do it.
We'll have Cotechino-san over at Christmas, so it'll be fine.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. What else is going on?
Next on the list, a mazzafegato.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the holidays, holiday foods.
So, Rosanna, there's 2 things at this time of year that are something from around here that are really good, but you wouldn't really find it.
You have to know to ask. Like, someone has to share it with you, and then you have to find the right butchers who make it the right way.
And they're not advertising that they have these two things. It's an old school thing. And one of them is called a mazzafegato, and the other is called cotechino. Cotechino is more common than a mazzafegato.
Yeah.
So what are these two things? Mazzafegato or mazzafegato is a sausage produced here in central Italy. Different regions do it a little, like Umbria, Toscana, Marche, really. It's produced with the same mixture as sausage, mainly composed of second and third choice meats and about 15% liver or other offal. So it's never the good parts. It's always some kidneys, some lungs, some heart, some...
It is only found when they're butchering pigs in the winter.
In the winter. You eat it fresh. So you would butcher the pigs, and because these organ meat turn so quickly, you would make this, and this was what you would eat first.
Mm-hmm.
Seasoned with salt and pepper, garlic, stuffed into a small diameter casing, previously washed with red wine usually. Upper Marche region may contain orange. We've had it with the orange peel. It's really good. Fennel flour, which is the ones that we just had from fennel
Umbria,
from Umbria, had the fennel flour.
So we know two butchers, and one of them, hilariously, we have stopped throughout the years. In the winter, Rosanna had turned us on to this. It's up on the crest of the
top of the hill to Città di Castello, passing through the Apini. There's this tiny little bar, cafe, restaurant. Like,
talk about old-timey.
Old-timey with these two ancient people who work in there.
Like this, if this was America, it'd be like old Wild West looking place. Like
Totally.
an old saloon door. It is old-timey.
You walk in there, and they haven't changed anything in that bar from 1982. It's awesome. Anyway, they would have a mazzafegato only if you asked for it, usually around this time of year into January. But she had to know you because they would only butcher so many pigs. She knew Rosanna, so if Rosanna walked in, she'd know her face. If I walked in, she'd be like, "Yeah, we don't have any of that."
And she even told. So we stopped by preemptively a couple weeks ago
over the autumn and said, "Listen, you sell a mazzafegato to our neighbor. It's the best mazzafegato I ever had in my life. It's great. I know you sell it. I know you're not making it at this time of year. However, can I please I'm looking for like half a kilo when you do it. Can I have a number, or can I give you my number?" I was really like, come on, man.
And she was like, well, we used to slaughter a lot more pigs, and now we don't slaughter as many, so we don't have as many sausages.
So basically the answer was the same thing as what I got in the previous years. But I know she had it. Anyway, I was telling this to Rosanna, and she's like, I got a guy in Città di Castello, where she's originally from, who does it. And let me tell you, it was fan-frickin-tastic. It didn't have... Now, in our area, they do the orange peel, a little bit of orange. This one had the fennel flower pollen. Incredibly good.
They're so good.
You grill them, and you eat them usually with sautéed wild greens or sautéed... something bittery to cut the fattiness of these sausages. And you have to eat them, like, immediately kind of thing. You don't let them... you don't freeze them. You don't let them hang out in the fridge. You come home and eat them. And
speaking of fatty meat, that is this time of year, cotechino is another good one that we just had.
Cotechino is another one. Now, cotechino is much more ubiquitous throughout Italy, especially at New Year's.
No, we because we're in such a pig reigns supreme area and we've got great butchers, then we're able to get it homemade from the butcher versus you can get, I don't know, it's cotechino, can you also get more industrial?
Fini makes cotechino. Now, cotechino is found in most of central Italy all the way through to the north. You'll find it all over the place. Now, this is simmer slowly in water and like carrot and celery to let
it looks like a giant sausage.
It looks like a giant sausage. You poke holes in it and you simmer it really slowly in water to let all the fat come out. And then you would usually put that into a pot of lentils or beans or something like that. So cotechino is pork sausage requiring slow cooking. You simmer it at low heat for several hours. I don't simmer it for several hours. I go like 45 minutes and it's good. The name comes from kotika, the rind or the skin of the pig, but it takes different names depending on its various locations of production. Traditionally, it's served with lentils or mashed potatoes. Lentils are the common choice on New Year's Eve.
It's delicious.
It's prepared
as well.
by filling the natural casing with ground up pork rind, pork meat, second cuts, fat, salt and pepper. Some Italian, for example. Then there's also musetto, which is a sausage made from the muzzle and the head of the pig, and zampone or zampetto or what's the other one? There's another word they use for it.
I can't think.
Zampone is a deboned pig's trotter that you fill up with a mix of ground meat, and then you stuff it like a turkey almost, and then you tie it up at top, and you would do the same thing. Not as good, not as much. I don't like that one as much. That one's super fatty. That one, like when you cut it, we'll start slicing it, like the fat's everywhere.
But this cotechino was extra good because it was made by the Porchetta guys. So excellent.
So if you see cotechino at your Italian grocery store, try it. It goes great with lentils. And just follow the instructions on the back. Mm-hmm. Won't be as good as the one we had, though. Or the mazzafegato.
Ooh, that is so good.
These are things you just eat. If you're here when they're around, you eat them. It's vacation delicious. Like, we don't eat these every day. We'll have a mazzafegato.
Once a year? Twice a year?
No, 2 or 3. I'll try to get it more than once. Cotechino we'll have once or twice a year. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, they're things you probably haven't heard of. Should we talk about panettone? Have you heard about panettone?
No, we've talked about that a million times.
We are on a donkey kick. Whew. What do I mean by that? I've got a animal zone.
Well, if you listened to the podcast a couple of years ago, it was all about cows.
Cows. Well, we realized the cow wasn't going to happen because the logistics involved in it.
But we have all this set up.
I have this set up, and there's been since the pigs died almost a year ago. 10 months ago, and it's time to get some more animals. So I think I'm out of the animal slaughter. I think I don't want to get animals that I have to slaughter anymore. Even though I do love pigs, they're delicious.
Delish.
I might have one just to have it. We still have pig in the freezer. So for right now, I think we're going to do a donkey. Donkeys fit all the criteria. They can live on they're not as delicate as the horses. The terrain down there isn't smooth, where horses have to have like a nice smooth area, nice and soft.
We're not horse caliber people.
No, yeah, we're not horse people. I'm not fancy enough.
I'd love it, but
I'm more of a donkey guy.
I love the clothes, but
I love the wrought iron and the wood.
Yeah, I love all the accoutrement of horsing, of equestrian life.
Yep.
But we're more of a
a few things with donkeys. One, donkeys live forever, 40 years plus. Number two, most of them come with a buddy when you're looking. Like, unless you're buying a baby, like young baby donkey, they always come with two donkeys. Their best friend. Or this donkey goes with this goat. Or this donkey goes with this pig. And you can't split them up because they will become that's their like buddy. They become super depressed, which is not a problem at all. But I'm having a problem finding the donkey. Just like I couldn't find the tractor I was looking for, I'm looking for a one-owner donkey that is about 20, 25 years old, that's really docile, and you can lead it around with a rope, and the owner is too old to take care of it anymore and wants to get rid of it. What I'm finding is lots of pregnant females and donkeys under a year old.
That is a plenty. I know.
I can't get a donkey under a year old. I can't have an animal that possibly could outlive.
We've got a lead from Marco the wine guy, but in a typical Italian way, what we're pretty sure is about to happen is, because he sent us an email the other day, are we still interested in getting a donkey? And I was like, yeah, send us more info. And so he's passing our info to the owner, but we feel like it'll be one of those things where
it's a right now donkey.
Yeah, can you come today? I'll be like, no.
It's like, if you don't come today, he's going to the glue factory, and it's like, we can't. I'm not ready today. I gotta
glue factory. It is
glue factory. It is. I gotta get the zone ready, and it's a mess down there, and
we don't even have a door up.
I know. The hinge on my gate broke. I have to re-weld the hinge. There's a lot of work to do down there. So I would like to get this donkey like when the cold weather breaks, like early March.
Yep. We'll see about that.
We're a little schizophrenic with the animals.
We are.
We have big proclamations, and then I start doing research and realize that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
And poor Roostino's probably not going to make it through the winter.
Our little bantam rooster, man, his call is getting real weak.
We have had him for probably 10 years.
Plus, he did not come new. He came as a replacement rooster. So he probably had a couple of years. We probably have a 12, 14-year-old rooster.
He's awesome.
He is he's not aggressive. He was great with the ladies.
We always say he's a gentleman.
He's very much a gentleman. His call in the morning now is... That's all he does.
It's so sad.
He goes to bed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, he's elderly.
Usually he was always the last one to go to bed because he wrangles the ladies. Right?
Come on, bedtime, ladies.
Bedtimes, he'd do his little dance and call him back in. Not anymore. He's getting up there. We'll just let him live his best life down there. And
I mean, he still goes out and about with them.
Yeah, he's active. He eats.
But
we
he's just know it's that call was a sign. Oh. I know it.
Yeah, so that's sad. It's sad. Our animals are getting old. Our cats are getting old. Our chickens are getting old. We're getting old. It's crazy how time passes. God damn it!
I know.
Okay, very funny dichotomy of life here. So we live in this old farmhouse that is God knows how many hundreds of years old. We heat with wood. We live in certain ways like it's 100 years ago. And in certain ways...
We've got hundreds of kilos of lard curing downstairs.
Yeah. So we've got a pantry full of jars and all that kind of stuff. And then in other ways, we have a satellite dish brought to you by Elon Musk. And now we needed a dimmer switch in the sala, in the dining room, because it was either... kills your eyes, or...
Well, it's hard because we need to be able to light to do a cooking class and have proper lighting, but also
dinner.
Bring it down a notch for dinner.
So because the person who wired this house when they remodeled it was a drunk, insane person, I'm not an electrician, but the way it was wired was there's multiple switches in the room. So it was going to be a thing to put a dimmer switch on in this room. I don't know why. Ask an electrician. So other than starting to pull new wire and freaking open walls and stuff, what was the other option? Ashley came up with Bluetooth lights made by Philips. Now, I think you enjoy it. It solved the problem. It is a dimmer light, but you
do like the dim.
It's ridiculous that we live in this farmhouse. I have to light a fire every morning, otherwise we freeze.
And then to turn on the lights, you turn them on the wall, and then you need the dimmer on your app.
An app. Oh, it drives me insane. Because the switch was we needed to replace the switch.
We had the dog sitter. It was like, there's all this stuff for the dogs. Here's the menus for, breaking down their food, all this other shit. Here's the vet info and the cats and the chickens and all of these things. And then it was like, oh, yeah, by the way, if you want to dim the lights, you need to download an app.
Now, I know a lot of you are be like, yeah, so I know you have Ring doorbells and Alexas and all this.
Like we said at the beginning, we live like old-timey Italy out here.
But for me, I don't like it. I don't like having to go find a phone to dim the lights. It's ridiculousness. They work great. I like it, but it's just, I don't like how technology is creeping in on my life.
No.
Too much.
Here it comes.
I know. I'm going to be the best curmudgeon.
You are already there.
I'm already there. First guest of the year already set. Woo! We're going early. We're going early this year. 2025, we're going early. I complain. See, I'm what's called a complainer. I like to bitch and moan about different things. So
the good and the bad.
The good and the bad. I told Ashley, was it last year or 2 years ago?
Last year.
Let's start later. Let's start a little bit later. So we started like the 1st of June, which I didn't like because because that meant that we kind of just piddled around and didn't get the house set up until way too far.
We dragged ass
at the end, in spring. I mean, we did other stuff, but didn't get the house set. So I was like, I hate it. Why'd you make the first booking so late? And you told me to. So this year I said, I want them earlier. Well, she made it earlier. We have a week before Easter, 15th of April this year. So there will be no futzing around. We sat on our butts for a month. Once this holiday is over, it's time to get back to it.
The winter projects. They begin early.
They begin early
this year. Let's hope for a warm spring.
No kidding. And let's hope for guests that understand that this is not America.
I had a one-on-one call with her.
Yeah, there's no these rooms are not 72 and
I wanted to make sure. I was like, this is not a hang out outside sunflowers trips. I said, it has snowed in April. This is a bring slippers. I know you guys are coming in April, but whew. But yeah, it's like you said, already time to start thinking about next year. And we got the seeds ordered.
Spring seeds are ordered. We'll start thinking about the garden here. All the seeds are here already for next year. So
this year you did the small, non-existent garden.
So next year I think we'll go back to a normal size.
The boys are back in town.
Not the super garden, but something big. The pool is totally screwed. I don't know if podcast faithful remember I talked about the pool. We have a problem with. Oh man, do you guys really want to hear about this?
No.
There's these things that hold up the liner that are made of metal. They're buried. They are cemented in 10 centimeters under the border of the pool. They have disintegrated along with the cement. There's no fixing it. It is basically destroying the whole pool to replace these things that hold up the liner, and it's $25,000 to do. It's
such a big project that even the workers who have actually even come out to look, it's hard enough to get anyone to come here. Like he's called different guys and sent photos and videos, and they're like, yeah, you're going to need to find someone. And he's like, that's why I'm contacting you. Anyway, anyone who has come out in person has said, ooh, can you wait another year or two to do this? Because they just know it's like, oh man.
It's basically taking the whole top off the pool, breaking up the cement to get to these metal brackets, replacing the $25,000, and you will not notice the difference in the pool one bit because it's really all internal stuff.
Yep.
Ouch.
Yikes.
Don't know if that's happening.
Not sure either.
I think my plan of draining the pool and turning the underground into a root cellar and the above part into a beautiful Victorian greenhouse is a much better idea.
I wanted to turn it down. I wanted to, but underneath it, a cave for cheese.
Yeah, a root cellar.
Yeah.
Bunker.
Well, root cellar doesn't. You talked about this elegant top, but then you go root cellar.
Well, it's just
still be cool
underneath.
Yeah,
I don't want to hang out down there. I want to be I want to have lunch next to my lemon trees in the middle of February outside.
Oh.
In my beautiful Victorian greenhouse.
None of that's happening.
No, but for $25,000, we can get a lot closer than just fixing a bunch of cement and brackets.
Seriously.
All
right, you got cookies to make.
Got to go make more. Yes, I got to go make more cookies.
It's the holiday season. Doop-dee-doo.
All right, to the tens of people listening, we thank you very much. We gave you a proper one this time. We did come short of our goal this year of 12 podcasts in 12 months. I think we did 11.
I think.
Yeah, so.
I hope.
Good for you. You didn't make your goal, so you lose. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas holiday season. Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2025. Do you have anything? Oh, you got to bring it home and tell them where to find us.
Buon Natale, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you guys so much for listening, and especially to those podcast listeners who have made it out in person over the years. It means so much to us. You know where to find us, latavolamarche.com. Book your holiday for 2025. The calendar is up. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all the usual suspects and places. La Tavola Marche, LATAVOLAMARCHE. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com. That's SENTIRE media.com and find out how to submit your show.